How we doing, guys?
Good. Has Connor Williams determined that he'll have the scope, and how will you proceed at filling in on that spot?
Yeah, we do anticipate Connor having the scope later today, and hopefully it'll be a short-term thing rather than a long-term thing. We won't know until they go in there, and then we'll just have a little competition for that spot. We have some guys that we have on our roster who we like. Xavier Filo, Adam Redmond, those guys have got opportunities there, and we'll see how it plays out through the course of this week of practice.
So you'll keep Looney at center, and you'll use both of those guys at guard?
Yeah, all options are available to us, and we like all our interior guys, so we'll just practice this week and see how it all goes.
So Looney will probably rotate through in there, too. Those three will kind of rotate through.
Yeah, I probably won't give you many more details on the exact rotation here in the next few days. Suffice it to say, we'll work on through practice this week, and we'll make those determinations come game time.
Really has been kind of a rough year for the line going back to Travis's situation before this season. How do you kind of view that, the way the line has played and sort of where it's headed now?
Yeah, that's part of our game. Obviously, at different times over the course of a season, you're going to have to deal with injuries or guys being out of the lineup for different reasons. And hopefully, you've built your team in a way where you can put somebody in and you can go play. And fortunate to have a guy like Joe Looney, a veteran player who has some experience to go in and play in Travis's absence. You know, Travis has been a Pro Bowl player, and you know, it's hard to replace a guy like that. But excited to have Joe, and excited about what he's done up to this point. Playing Connor Williams as a rookie, he's come a long way in 8 games, and feel good about what his progress has been and how those guys are playing. Unfortunately, he'll be out of the lineup at least for a little bit now, and so we have a couple of veteran guys who we like give a chance to go in there and compete for that spot, and we'll see how practice works out this week, and that's part of playing in this league.
When you look at tape at Philadelphia and what they're doing offensively now, what are your overall thoughts on them? I
think they're awfully good. Obviously, they're good on their offensive line. They built it the right way. Big-time players up there. Got an outstanding quarterback. They've had to deal with some injuries at running back, but they're playing guys that they like. They have receivers who can make plays. They got a tight end who's a playmaker. They try to attack you a lot of different ways. Obviously, a really good football team.
You have such a young team, and Sean's not out, so you think you don't have a field player over 30 years old. When you're in a situation you're in 3 and 5, do you worry about how they handle, how they come to work, how they pay attention to any outside noise that you guys are going through?
That's part of what you're trying to instill in your team, regardless of how young or how veteran your team is. You have to deal with success and adversity over the course of a 17-week NFL season, and you're going to have a lot of success over the course of the season. You're going to have some things you have to deal with, some different adversities, and the biggest thing you have to do is learn from your experiences and keep getting better. So you're always trying to create an environment where everybody's learning regardless of how much experience they have. No different with this team.
The Eagles' run defense is ranked second in the NFL. Obviously, you're looking to get the ground game going with Zeke. What challenges does their defense pose?
They're really good. They're really good on their front. They're really good at linebacker. They're really good on the back end. They have a scheme they believe in. They have guys who are playmakers, but they're also very disciplined in playing their scheme. They're not overly complicated. You know, they stay in a similar front really throughout the game. They play, you know, just a handful of coverages over the course of the game, but they're really good at what they do. And they play to the strengths of their players, and they play at a very high level. It does not surprise me one bit. They're ranked as high as they are, combination of players and the scheme they use.
Would you say your run game has been inconsistent this season, or hasn't performed to the level that it has the last couple of years when Elliott was in there?
Always want it to be better. I don't know where we are statistically. I think we were among the top 5 rushing teams there for a little while. Certainly we want that to be a big part of what we do. Starts with the guys up front, but it's really everybody. Tight ends blocking, receivers blocking, and certainly the impact of the runner. And so that's always going to be a big part of what we try to do week in and week out. Sometimes it'll be harder based on what the defense is trying to do, what they're trying to take away. Sometimes they load up the box and say, we ain't letting you run. So you have to beat them other ways. You have to be able to attack through the passing game and run them out of those fronts, run them out of those defenses. So every week it's not going to be the same thing. Those are the challenges that NFL defenses present. But again, it'll be a big part of what we do, and you're always trying to do it better.
It's just Elliott's been held under 80 yards more times this season than he was in the first 2 combined, and it's understand the circumstances of the games, but I was just wondering if even more of a defensive emphasis, if we take this away from them, they don't have a lot of proven options here, so we'll just go all in to take this out? Or?
Yeah, again, in some of those games, Dak Prescott had really good running games. And, we've talked about that, how they can complement each other in the zone read game and how that rushing total encompasses all those guys. So if they want to put a lot of guys up in the box and take that away, that's typically when the quarterback runs have come alive. And then, when we played our best football, we've had a balance between run and pass, and we've been able to impact the game in a positive way by throwing the football. So that's always what we're striving for.
It appears Dez is signing with the Saints. What can he do for New Orleans, and what will it be like facing him in a couple weeks?
Yeah, Dez is a great player. Dez is a great player in this organization for a long time, and really happy for him and that opportunity. And I know it's important to him. He wants to finish his career strong. He's done such a great job for this organization. Has been an impact player in this league over the course of his 8 years playing. So it seems like a real good opportunity for him. And I know he'll help their team.
You wish he was with a team that you guys don't play this year?
I'm happy for Dez. I'm happy he has an opportunity to go play and finish the right way. It'll be a great environment for him to go have a big impact.
How quickly do you know when your team is not allowing 1 week to affect the next week? Do you notice that on today when they get to work and a walkthrough? And what have you seen early this morning with these guys?
Yeah, typically that's what you're striving for. That old 24-hour rule. You want to put the last one to bed as quickly as you can and get on to the next one. And whatever that result was, good, bad, or indifferent, it's behind you now. You want to learn from the experience and move forward. So this team has done a really good job of that. Great spirit and energy this morning. Hopefully I'll have a good practice today.
Division rivalries for every club are different. When you see a division rival win a Super Bowl, do you take more pride in that accomplishment because they're in the same division? Does it hit you a little differently and tick you off more?
Don't really think too much about it, to be honest with you. I have great respect for Philadelphia. We've played great games against them through the years. There's a great history and tradition between these two franchises, going back long before I've been around. And we have great respect for what they've done with their team and their organization. Give them a tremendous amount of credit for what they accomplished last year. But the biggest thing we're focused on is us, what we need to do to play our best football on Sunday night.
How's Wentz looked? And is their offense different where they ran with him when you saw these guys last December with Foles?
He's a really good player. Obviously, we had a chance to be around him at the Senior Bowl when he was coming out in the draft and got to know him. And just a really, really talented guy. He's big, he's strong, he's fast, he can run, he can throw it. He's got great leadership skills, command of their offense, executes well, doing a lot of different things. So he's the same guy that was playing so well for him last year, and he's an outstanding football player.
Is there anything you see on film that shows he's getting a little bit more comfortable coming off the knee?
Again, he looks like the same guy to me. For him to be able to come back as quickly as he has and regain the form that he's had, a real tribute to him and a testament to how hard he's worked at it. But doesn't surprise us at all because of the kind of kid he is. But done an outstanding job for them. He's a great player.
What sort of impact do you feel that Tate will have for them? And when you see him for the first time and you know what he is as a player, but you haven't seen him in that scheme, just what are your thoughts on how you approach that and what are your expectations?
He's a really good football player. We faced him a few weeks ago in Detroit, and he had a big impact on our game. He's been a really good player since he's come into the league. He was a great player at Notre Dame, and he impacts the game in a real similar way. Since the first time we saw him in college, he does a great job with the ball in his hands. He's a good route runner. Typically they play him inside, but he's capable of playing anywhere, and he's most dangerous running with the ball after the catch. And he's physical, he's athletic, he's aggressive, he's competitive, and he typically makes a lot of plays when he gets opportunities.
Back on Dez for a second. How motivated do you think he will be to play against you guys?
You'll have to ask him. Wish Dez nothing but the best.
What do you think he'll say?
I have no idea. I really don't. I love Dez. Wish him nothing but the best going forward. It's a great spot for him.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. See you guys.
Thanks, Coach.